Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the bald explorer, out on another walk, and with me is the lovely Julia.
Hello.
Now, Julia, we are on an interesting walk because we have come to Selborne, which is in Hampshire, to an interesting house
Yes.
of an interesting man
Yes.
who did interesting things.
Yes.
And I should explain that we, apart from actually being under a tree, we've been and had this amazing introduction to this house and this man, who we'll tell you about in a second. We had so much information, didn't we?
Yeah, my mind is a little bit blown right now.
And it's trying to remember, because not only is there one bloke, there's two others involved.
Yes, two others.
Who aren't related. Now, all this is not making sense, and I realise that. So, firstly, Julia, what's the name of this bloke that we're supposed to be talking about?
Gilbert White.
Gilbert White, yes, that's right, Gilbert White. What was he?
He was basically the first ecologist, although he wouldn't have recognised that word, basically because he was blazing the trail from all accounts. You know?
Yeah, he lived in the 18th century. He was a curate at the church near here, and he sort of was a naturalist.
Yeah, I mean, naturalist. Most of his family were interested in that, I mean, as is self-evident by a lot of the things in the house, but
yeah,
he really was interested in it.
So we're going to walk around the house. It's a museum now, and because it's a museum, it's open to the public, and there's a few talking speakers. When I say loudspeakers, discrete speakers, which sort of help give you the what do you call it? An interpretation of something.
Yeah, actors' voices.
Yeah, which might come over the microphone, might be a bit irritating, but obviously we can't turn those off. But first of all, let's have a look at the house, shall we? It's quite a big house, isn't it?
Yeah.
It goes on, I'll just sweep the camera around, right down to that end there. But actually, if I remember rightly, the lady that took us round told us it's not all at the same time.
No, the original part of the building is this pale section over here.
Right.
So it would have been from the porch over there all the way to here where it meets with the red brick.
So it was quite a small, humble little curate's house at the time.
Yeah.
But now, if I remember rightly, she said there was 25 acres of land.
Yeah, he kind of wrapped that up slowly, gathering parcels of it, didn't he?
No, I think you're right. And of course he spent most of his time outside because he was interested in wildlife.
Yes.
He was interested in birds, in
worms.
Of
them and
and why one species did this and why one species did that. And didn't she say that Darwin was influenced by his work?
Absolutely, and he managed to later on prove a lot of Gilbert White's theories and ideas. So that's really nice. So
we're going to go and take a little stroll around the house and see what we can see. And obviously, I think people have got to come here to appreciate it properly.
Yeah, I mean, there is so much here to be found out. There's so much information on all three of the people featured in the museum. You've got to come and find out for yourself, because there's no way we can impart all that information to you.
Just round here. Now, we have to go in a strange way because of the way the house is currently laid out. But this is a latter part of the house that we're going to enter first of all. Thank you very much, Julia. I'm going to wipe my feet here. And shall we start in what was his original main part of the house?
Yes. We're going to walk past the front door as well, aren't we?
Oh, yeah.
To get there.
That's right. Because of the way the event that we're at, we can't actually walk in through the front, which is a shame, but here is the front door.
Here's the back side of the front door.
Yes, here's the back side front door, and there's no post, so we're all right.
Very beautiful ornate door.
It is a beautiful ornate door. I'm walking slowly backwards to then reveal I suppose, is this the main parlour?
Yeah.
The little parlour. I beg your pardon. There we are. We've just been corrected. The little parlour.
That one's a great, this one's a little.
Oh yes, there we are. That's the lady who we were talking about earlier. Just letting her disappear.
Lots of information.
So you can kind of imagine Gilbert sitting here, having, I don't know whether he'd be sitting here having a bowl of soup or something, or reading or passing the time with his wonderful nephews and nieces and house full of people, because he was part of an extended family.
Yes, yes.
Lots of them, and all. So he wasn't sort of living here on his own.
No, I mean, he was a lifelong bachelor, according to...
Yeah, he didn't marry.
Kimberly. No, he didn't marry, but he had lots and lots of nieces and nephews. So
Yeah.
he had loads of siblings. He was the eldest of 10?
Something like that.
Something
yeah,
like that.
yeah, huge numbers.
So-
There's let's go and have a look into the kitchen area, shall we?
Shall we? Okay, I just don't want us to miss out on
We
the
won't.
other Great Hall.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely not miss out on that. So let's go into the kitchen. Now, when we go in here, I should just point out there'll be a speaker that will come on. That we had that, so I'm creeping just tentatively.
Yeah, step over that way. See if we can step over the sensors. Yes.
Oh, I think we've made it. So here we go. We've got a beautiful kitchen. Look at this. It's lovely, ornately laid. Ornately? I don't know. It's how genuine it is, who knows? But it does look very lovely. You've got this big old inglenook fire, or not quite an inglenook fire, but a big old kitchen fire where they were cooking various goodies. And 18th century domestic life was here. And curiously, on the side, I'm sure they didn't eat this. This is a tortoise. Now, you've got a tortoise, haven't you?
I do, yes.
Yeah.
A different species to this, but yes.
Different species. Gilbert had a tortoise,
He did.
and he did some very strange things with his tortoise, as Kimberly taught us.
Yes.
Yeah. What did he do with his tortoise? Why was he experimenting with his tortoise?
Well, he was experimenting with it to find out about the tortoise, what it was capable of, what it could do, what it wouldn't do.
Yeah.
Like, for example, putting it on the
ha-ha.
ha-ha to see if it would
Put it on the edge of the ha-ha to see if it would,
see if it would walk off or
topple over
not,
the side. Yeah.
whether it would know not to.
And
it did know not to.
And it did know not to. And he was curious whether tortoises could swim. So what did he do there?
Barrel or bucket of water, he put the tortoise in, and of course it didn't.
It just sank. Presumably he got it out before it drowned.
I should imagine so.
Yeah, because
Considering
it
it outlived him.
I was going to say, it did outlive him, this tortoise. So this Gilbert White had a very curious mind, and he seemed to be interested in different birds and different species of things. And there's a case upstairs, which we may or may not see, but he distinguished these tiny little nut warblers or bird
That's right.
warblers, not from what they look like,
But from their voices and their song.
but from their song. And I read that many of the other people who were studying wildlife and stuff were looking at the species once they were dead. But his unique thing was to see them in the wild.
Yeah,
Now, you mentioned another room, didn't you?
I did.
Shall we go and see that?
Yes, let's.
I'll follow you. So we've got to come back
Through the little parlour,
through the little parlour.
into the Great Hall.
Oh yes, into the great parlour, past these mannequins with dresses, and this is a very nice room here. And who's that funny character over there then,
Well, we
Julia?
have a very lovely man standing at a very fine 5'2".
Hey, wait a minute, he's the same height as you. He's a dwarf. No, you're not a dwarf though, are you?
No.
But here's it says
He-
he
he's
was a
a pixie
short
like
house
me. Yes.
for a gentleman.
Yes.
Yeah, how interesting. Although I think they don't really know how he looked. I mean,
No,
they've
they
got
don't
an
really-
interpretation there.
There's only one picture that was drawn of him by someone who'd seen him during his lifetime.
Yeah.
Everything else was people who hadn't seen him.
But his famous book, Julia,
Yes.
still in print,
Yeah,
still
yeah.
in print.
It's the 4th most popular, isn't it?
Yeah, the 4th book next to the Bible and the works of Shakespeare, and I can't remember what the other one was, something by Richard Vobes, I think, is called the Natural History and Antiquities of Selborne.
Yes.
That was his big famous book. And there's
Also
the
known as White Selborne, I think.
Oh, White Selborne.
Nickname.
The famous book is actually on display here. Let's have a look.
Let's.
And there it is, the original manuscript.
Yeah.
And it seems to have been really a concoction of letters to a couple of other people that he knew, and he was sort of debating about the findings that they
Absolutely.
had.
They were basically just exchanging notes and observations,
Yeah.
and confirming or disproving each other's ideas or theories and observations. So,
like a
yeah.
sort of debating chamber on paper. But amazing, because this, as you said before, is really the starting point for all of natural history's looking at things and looking at things through observation.
the study of ecology.
Shall we go upstairs and have a quick look in his bedroom and his
Study.
study? That was the
Yeah.
word I was looking for. Get a measure of the man before we disappear. So I'll follow you, Julia. Through the little parlour again, and this time up the stairs. Here they go. How lovely to have lived in a house like this.
Who lives in a house like this?
Yeah. This is rather dark, and there's a reason that it's dark. Not just that it's a bedroom, but I think it's something to do with the hangings, as they call them, around this 4-poster bed. Can you remember what she said?
It's vintage bed hangings, basically, and bed linens. So the light, natural light can do a lot of damage to it.
Yeah.
So they keep it in the dark.
So here we are, into his study. And there's a tape playing in the background, but you can see his desk. We think that this is what she said. They don't really know if this was his study, but they assume that's what this room was for. It's a lovely old desk. Something unusual about the front of the desk, if I remember rightly, Julie.
It's got Gilbert White's initials on it, and,
yeah.
and a date.
On the when you pull up the bit that you write on at the bureau. I suppose it's a bureau, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the technical
That's how
term.
I'd have.
Yeah, and then over here you've got just a sort of a setup of some of the specimens that he would have been perhaps examining and writing about in his wonderful book.
There's a cabinet up there of the birds that he was studying at one point, and the fact that everybody else who looked at them or talked of them assumed that all of these were the same species, but he's the one that ascertained that they were all different species, mainly from their song.
Well, let's come back out here. The house has the additional bits, and there are 2 other exhibitions, aren't there, that are unconnected to Gilbert White, but connected to the house, and actually they're all explorers in their own right.
Yeah.
We haven't got time, obviously, to go into that, but we'll just quickly tell you who they were, because if you come, you might find that quite interesting.
Yes.
So first of all, we've got the Frank Oates Gallery. He was another explorer and naturalist, going into South America and Africa.
Yeah. That's a brilliant quote of his up there. I like anything that seems difficult of attainment. And that was apparently quite true of many aspects of his life.
So we've got all of that you can go and have a look at. He had, by all accounts, it was an incredible life.
And then here we have Captain Oates, 1880 to 1912, soldier, explorer, hero.
Let's have a look at him, shall we?
Let's have a look.
And that is the Captain Oates,
He was
who
famed
on the Scott trip to the Antarctic that did the famous self-sacrifice moment, wasn't it?
That's right. I'm just going outside and I may be some time, is what he said.
That's right, and there he is.
With the horses, was it his job to look after them?
He looked
Can you
after,
remember?
yeah, I think that's right. He looked after the horses and the ill-fated trip with Captain Scott.
Yeah.
But ladies and gentlemen, we don't have time to take you around and tell you all the details of that, because I mean half of those have vanished out of my head. I
Yeah.
don't know about yours. You need to go and spend another couple of hours just soaking it all up.
There is so much here to see and so much here to learn, so you must come yourself.
Until then, thanks Julia for helping me remember.
Thanks,
On
Richie,
this
for
occasion.
bringing me along.
And we'll see you on the next one. Till then, goodbye.
Bye.
It's cold in here, isn't it?
Oh, it's certainly windy. The wind's picking up. Let's head on out to the
Yeah.
garden. Which way was that?
Down here, I think.